Welcome to Dragon Sanctuary, a podcast dedicated to helping you expand your light for ascension. Let's stay curious and build community. And now, here's your host, Vick.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode, and I'm calling it a new season on Dragon Sanctuary. I am thrilled, absolutely thrilled, to be here today with all of you. And for anyone who is tuning into today's episode, I hope you're going to enjoy this one. So this episode is one that I have wanted to do for some time now. I have felt called. It's a very near and dear topic to me, and it is the term or the phrase noise. And noise, I think, is something that impacts all of us every single day, whether literally or not. And I've really wanted to discuss how this topic has personally impacted me and how I've learned to kind of navigate the noise. So one of my favorite sayings that I try my very best to live by is observe, don't absorb. And I'm just going to repeat that. Observe, don't absorb. So in a world full of opinions, keep them to yourself. Now, some of you are probably thinking, Vic, really? Like you're opening with this and you're coming on and you're going to give us your opinion on noise, obviously. And that's true. But my goal is to always share. And with that being said, it's simply however you want to take it. So if this resonates, great. If it doesn't, that's okay too. So thank you. Thank you for being open to hearing this or not. And I want to start off by saying that we live in what I believe to be quite a polarizing time. So a polarizing time in history, just a polarizing moment in time, rather. And for me personally, it's forced me to go inwards. Really, really, really try to tune out the noise and hear what my own internal song sounds like. And it's tricky. I'll be honest with you. There are moments where it's really hard for me to block out the noise, and I'll speak to my brain injury more specifically and how it's hard for me, or it was and has been hard for me in the past to deal with noise. And I mean it in the literal sense. So this could be, being in a room full of people. Really hard. Used to be harder for me. Now it's better. For sure, I can do it. I can tolerate it. But being at a show, being at a concert, being in a music venue, or maybe it's in a place where I may not want to be, but I'm there to support somebody or something. And there's a lot of sound. There's a lot of energy. There's a lot of different kinds of opinions floating around. It's exhausting. And I wonder if anyone at this point can relate to that. Relate to feeling drained. Relate to feeling tired, or maybe even just misunderstood because you reacted to the noise. So for me, ways I've learned to kind of recognize this, cope with this, strategies that I've inherited or, learned to develop is observing, not absorbing. It's a tough one. I won't lie to you. It's a really tough one, especially for me personally. I love talking. I love conversing. I love understanding, getting to know, connecting with people. And when somebody says something, I want them to feel heard. I want them to feel understood. Maybe I don't agree, but that doesn't mean I have to react. It could just simply mean I have to nod and just acknowledge what the person is saying, rather than always having to feel like we need validation from others. Maybe we just need to be heard by others. And maybe that looks like shutting off too. Shutting off for a while, taking time for yourself, not putting yourself in certain situations that may trigger you or be too loud for you. These are all valid. Now, I was visiting a good friend of mine. It's actually my sister's best friend, but I consider her like a sister to me too. And for those of you who have listened to the podcast, you may have listened to Erica's episode, and that's who I'm talking about here today. So I went to see Erica, and it was a wonderful time. It was overdue. I will say it was overdue, but every time we get together, it kind of feels like we didn't skip a beat. And I really appreciate those people in my life because there's lots of you. So Erica and I are talking about some noisy stuff. Noisy topics. And I take a look at her and I say, you know what? Let's pause. Let's make a choice here. Are we going to listen to that noise? Or are we going to take a deep breath, look above, listen to the birds? And when we do that, all we really are hearing, all I'm hearing, Erica and Vick, is the gravel beneath my feet. And the birds chirping and the wind blowing, rustling the leaves. And we got talking, we got, conversing about this. We had an amazing chat, basically saying that the outside noise doesn't have to direct our life. Why should we take it on? Truly, why should we take it on? We only have the capacity for so much as human beings. Why not choose our song? We can be sensitive. We can be overstimulated. Why not? Sound affects us. There's so many opinions about use wireless headphones, don't use wireless headphones, protect your ears, don't protect your ears, listen to your headphones on the train, don't, walk with no sound, walk with your, I don't know. I just do what feels good for me in the moment, and that could evolve as well. It doesn't have to stay so fluid all the time, be the same. It can be, I can change my mind. But what I'm not choosing to do is absorb and take on the outside noise. I decided I can't do it. It's too tough for me. Now, there's another story that I want to share with you, and it also happened to me recently. Kind of going back to my brain and my passion, which was for a long time hockey. And I went to support a dear friend of mine, and watch her coach. She coaches. She's a phenomenal coach, actually. And I went to watch her game with her new team. And I've done this in the past. I've actually had the privilege of helping her out on the bench, which was really cool. Hope to have her on here soon. And I got to the rink, and the first thing I said to myself was, whew. Like, even right now, I need a sip of water. I was overstimulated. Now, mind you, I had been dealing with a little bit of vertigo. And I haven't really been dealing with vertigo lately, but I was dealing with a little bit of vertigo. But I still wanted to go. I wanted to support her. And when I got there, I was like, oh. Whoa. Wow. The lights, the puck, the coldness, the people talking, the boards hitting, the cheering, the muffled. I'm like, whoa, ho, ho. Oh. I was ready for bed before I came. And I thought, okay, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to have a good time. I was meeting one of my other really good friends there. And I said, okay, we're into it. Like, I'm just here. I'm in the present. Just observe, don't absorb. And we got there. We had a decent seat. We got talking to some of the parents, which was really nice. We watched the game. And during the game, a few different times, I turned to my girlfriend and I was like, and we both said, we're like, how did we do this? More importantly, how did our parents do this? Like, honestly, how did our parents go to the cold rink in Canada every winter willingly on Friday or Saturday night and freeze to death to get rowdy and cheer us on and sometimes bicker? Like, this was a tournament, okay? Like, before the season had even started that I was watching my friend's team at. And there was a tilly between the parents within the first 15 minutes or so of the game. These girls are like 15 and under, I think. I'm pretty sure they're like 13, 14, and under 15 years old. And mind you, it was a headshot, okay, that this girl took. But, I mean, I don't remember the play if her head was down or not. I'm not too sure. All I know is that dad and dad were ripping each other new ones. One was in the stands at the top with us, and one was in the bottom by the glass in the corner. And they were beaking. And I'm thinking to myself, well, actually, not to myself. I turned to Christine and I said, the parents are the worst. And forgive me for, like, categorizing the parents there. But why? Because we feed off that energy as players and as children and as people. Like, why? What is the point in a friendly tournament to just beak because your kid took a hit? And it was, like, she was okay. Like, I want to say, like, for the record, she wasn't injured. I think she might have left the game. I'd have to ask the coach. I'm not sure. And I just couldn't believe I'm sitting there with one of my dear friends, watching one of my dear friends, who also happened to be teammates. This person who was coaching was my line mate for years. And I'm thinking to myself, how did we do this? How did we just go this hard all the time? No wonder I'm so intense. And it's been nice to just observe that, like, within me, and just recognize that I don't have to be that intense, that I don't have to be going 110 all the time. Actually, today I'm deciding to go about 80. I'm deciding to go about 80 because I'm a little tired. I've got a little vertigo. There's a little bit overstimulation for me. I'm trying to observe and not absorb. And I love sports. I really do. I really, really love sports. I have a huge appreciation for athletes, sports, passion, culture, all the things, dedication, hard work, discipline. I would always say, or I do always say in therapy that, I'm an athlete first. So if you give me, I say to my doctor, I say, if you give me a task, draw up a drill, same thing. I'm going to practice it and I'm going to try to execute it how you want. But I can't believe how much being passionate and playing this sport or sports in general can absorb into us. Like, we don't even know how to chill. I remember when I quit hockey. I remember it so well. It was the worst day of my life. It was the worst and the best day of my life. It was. It was one of the, if you ask me what's the two top or three top hardest things you've ever done in your life, that's up there. It's like top 3. Hockey was my identity. It was who I was my whole life. And it was the best day of my life because I was setting myself free to be someone that I was supposed to just be, not someone who I was supposed to work at and fail at and, kill myself over becoming. For what? I got my 6th concussion in university. That one almost did me good. I won't forget that one because that one, my grandma was at the game and I thought I was paralyzed because I was so silly for trying to dangle, which is like deke out this girl who was way better than me and huge. And instead of passing the puck, I wanted to just do a nice little move to impress my grandma and my mom in the stands. And instead she leveled me. And the way I fell on the side of my body, and I just felt my spine crack and I couldn't move. And one of the scariest, for a while, I blacked out hard and then I couldn't move. And I remember laying on the ice. And I know some of you listening are in girls hockey, there's no, there is contact, okay? There's no body checking, but there's still contact. Go watch a women's hockey game and let me know what you think. So I'll just say that. But I'm lying on the ice and all I hear from my trainer is, she can't move her feet. I don't know what to do. She's saying, my trainer is saying that to the other trainer. And in that moment I thought, all right, there's a lot of noise around me here. I'm so sorry to my mom and my grandma who are watching this. The stretcher is about to come and take me off the ice and I'm going to have to go to the hospital. And that's kind of traumatic for them. All I had to do was dish the puck and pass it. But instead I wanted to do a nice move. I'm not going to lie. I was that kind of player. I'm not going to lie. And sometimes anyways. And long story short, I went to the hospital. They cleared me. They said I probably had whiplash, not a concussion. And they said I could go back on the bus. And I remember in that moment, I cursed to God. I said, really? You couldn't just send me home with my mother? I got to go back on that bus and play for that hockey team that I don't even want to play for? Play that sport that is killing me every day. For what reason? Who am I blaming? Myself or the sport? The hockey gods or me? And I remember everything was a blur from that point on for me. When went back and like my coach was like, Vick, you good? And I'm like, yeah. And like I remember leaving my mom in the parking lot and I was like, I don't want to do it. I'm so done with this. I was checked out. I was checked out for a while, but I was like really checked out because I knew that it was one of my worst bodily injuries that I had gotten because I had sustained so many up until that point, and that was just like kind of the cherry on top for me. And not long after that, I ended up quitting the team. And that's a story for another day. But I actually quit. And that was intense. I never want to quit anything in my life, but in that moment, I said to myself, I am quitting this because it is no longer serving me. It is actually hurting me. And it was one of the hardest decisions of my life. I am leaving the sport that is killing me. It's killing me. And as you all know by now, I suffered severely from post-concussion syndrome. And in that moment, I remember my sister was in town. She was helping me out because I was going through it. And I had her come up and, I made the tough decision. And I had every intention of playing later, maybe later when I was more healthy. Because I ended up quitting halfway through the season, halfway through the year before Christmas. And it was very toxic. It was very toxic for me. And I said, I have to get out of here. I can't do this. And walking away is like the hardest thing sometimes to do. Because or I'll say I, feel like a failure when I do that. I feel like I'm letting people down. I'm letting my teammates down. But the truth is you're only letting yourself down. And that's the only person that matters, is you. You can observe a situation and realize what it's doing to you and then decide that you don't want to absorb it anymore. You can walk away. And I know that that's harder to do for some people, easier to do for others. I don't want to say that as a blanket statement. But truthfully, it is the most important decision you will always have to make. This noise around us, how it's overstimulating, consuming, all consuming. And can I apply this to all facets in my life? Now, I know that was probably hard to hear, or could have been hard to hear, or can be hard to process and digest, but I share it with you with a lot of conviction. And why? Because I have been talking about this topic for a long time for me. It is a topic that is so prevalent in my life. This concept of noise and how to deal with all the noise. And I already mentioned we live in a very polarizing time. There's opinions everywhere. You go online and everyone's telling you how to eat, when to eat, what to do, when to sleep, how to sleep, what to sleep, how to shower, how to change, how to take care of your kids, how to cook your sourdough, how to make it perfect, how to not, don't mess it up, do this, do that. I always say, do this, do that. Mitchell, my partner, always says, do this, do that. And it's, sometimes he's even saying, I'm telling him to do this and that. I'm not perfect. Sometimes I'm doing too much or saying too much, telling too much, absorbing too much, and then projecting. And I'm grateful for those around me, people like Mitchell, who can create some awareness for me, have compassion for me, understanding. But ultimately, the most compassion you need to have is for yourself. And this can include, family. It can include your closest friends, an animal, your children, an elder, someone you respect, someone in authority, where you're like, nah, that's too much noise for me, thanks. Or, I hear you, thank you for sharing that with me. The concept of validating instead of oh yeah, you're so right. Well, maybe we're not. Maybe as people, we just want to be heard. That's it. If we can just focus on being heard rather than being worshipped or validated in the sense of, yeah, you're so right. It's a tricky one. So I'm going to challenge everyone who's still listening to look within. Okay? So how are you choosing to listen to your inner song? How are you choosing to listen to the world around, within, or beneath you? Is it just the gravel on your feet? Is it the birds chirping? Is it the AC rumbling? I'll leave that with you. I love to wrap up my episodes by pulling a card. And I've been having a lot of fun with this new deck that I got recently. It's called Angels of Atlantis. It's an oracle card deck. And it's done by Stuart Pearce. So for those watching, I'll show you there. And it's funny with my cards, as you may or may not know, I pull them before, but I don't. I set the intention and do the whole thing, and then I pull them and don't read them. Now, this card here, I actually pulled it last time. So I love when that happens. It means that the message is still relevant or needs to be received. So this is the card here, okay? And it's Angel Gabriel, Benediction. It's a hand with a blue light radiating out of the palm. So I'll read the message. Gabriel wishes you to know that many blessings are sent to you from the angelic kingdoms. Simply yield to this. Don't resist, just let go. The joy and love you will receive, as flow directly from the source, will surpass anything else you may experience. These feelings are the virtues that will always be received in the holy instant of benediction. The angel service is to be a loving conduit for the divine, lifting away any challenge you may experience. Fear makes us unaware of the angels. Surrender the grip of fear, and your blessings will accrue. Say a prayer like Hail Mary, full of grace, as a song to the divine feminine, illuminating the nature of your connection with the holy ones. Beautiful. Surrender to the grip of fear, and your blessings will accrue. Beautiful message. I thank you all for listening. It's a pleasure to be here with you again in this space. I look forward to creating and sharing and connecting with all of you, and wishing you all a beautiful rest of your day. Thanks for listening.